Greetings. I'm Michael Black, Colonel United States Air Force retired, and I am a member of the Veterans Committee at the City Club of Washington, D.C., and I'm excited to be here with you during Veterans Week. The event that we're going to do this year during Veterans Week is part of the City Club and as part of Vets in Transition, a nonprofit organization that obviously assists vets that are in transition, an organization that I'm very familiar with and been a part of. We're conducting an interview today with a distinguished veteran, distinguished Navy veteran, Admiral Derwood DC Curtis. Now, the reason we're doing this interview is because we're doing it in honor of Dan Sturdivant, who was the leader of the Veterans Committee at the City Club of Washington, D.C. And Dan was a big fan of veterans. He was a veteran himself, actually in the Marine Corps. And for us, we're actually conducting this interview on the Marine Corps' birthday. So happy birthday to the Marine Corps. And again, in honor of Dan, who liked to do events around Veterans Week in honor of veterans. Dan was a small business advocate. Most of his federal service career, he spent time supporting the Coast Guard and then the Department of Treasury. And then the bulk of his career was a service-disabled veteran business advocate with the Department of Homeland Security. And so he helped small businesses win government contracts. He was a huge advocate. I, like many people, benefited from his advocacy. As I said, Dan was passionate about the City Club, a member and on the board there, longstanding member, and led the Veterans Committee. And so one other thing I want to mention, that Dan was a Purple Heart winner with 2 tours in Vietnam. He did what they call Tunnel Rat, which was a very dangerous mission over there, and 2 tours over there, Purple Heart winner, and then retired from the Marine Corps. He always liked to do these events around Veterans Day, and so this year we're going to interview Vice Admiral retired Derwood DC Curtis. And so I'd like to bring in Admiral Curtis now. And sir, if you could just first just tell us a little bit, maybe start in your pursuit to get an appointment to the Naval Academy and be a graduate of the class of 1976.
Well, great. Well, thank you, Mike, for this great introduction and for the opportunity to speak. And I never got a chance to know Dan, but I just appreciate the roads that he opened, his desire, and also his service in Vietnam. I was number 65 on the draft list during those times. Fortunately, unfortunately, it had ended by the time to actually serve, but I know those guys did a lot, for us. Also, it's great to be here for the Marine Corps' birthday. My son, who is a graduate, the class of '02 from the Academy, was a Marine, and really enjoyed, all the opportunities and the foundation that it gave him. In reference to your question, and thank you for all you do for the City Club and for the Veterans in Transition. That's a great organization where I can help, please. It's kind of hard really to talk to you for a while after seeing that Redskin helmet in the background. I will have to really concentrate and keep positive, basically. I'm a Cowboy fan since high school, and you talked about getting an appointment. One of the reasons that I became interested in the Naval Academy was because of my coach. We always talk about role models and mentors, and of course, in those days, we didn't call them mentors. They were coaches or friends or advisors. I went to the high school to play football for the coach, who was a Notre Dame graduate and played at Notre Dame, and the high school I went to had won the championship 3 out of the last 4 years. So went there, captained the team, pretty successful. I was in ROTC. So in my school was large, over 4,000 kids. In my class, there was about 800. ROTC unit was 385. So we had a big unit. We had a drum and bugle corps, color guard, drill platoon. We had everything. So it was great in being a part of that. And once I saw the uniform, I was hooked. Coming from an Army family, it was Army ROTC. But I joined and aspired to be a leader there, and also the football team and other organizations. So my coach saw that I was very compassionate, about what I was doing. I had leadership skills, and he's the one that recommended me. So the Naval Academy started recruiting me, went for a nomination through my pastor, small church on the south side of Chicago. And it was interesting because he was very well connected. He knew Congressman who ran track, basically, who ran with Jesse Owens, years ago. Was able to get a nomination and was recruited by the Naval Academy to play football. So we went to the academy, and this was the first year they had really reached out to a lot of minority athletes because they wanted to change the complexion of Navy football. And it's interesting because the coach called us in. We found out later he gave us the same speech, but we all were hooked, after we went down there for a visit. So, and again, the academy, as you know, just a lot of opportunities. It gave me an opportunity to serve, do something different, be part of something bigger than what I was, be a leader, get paid, basically, travel, throughout. So really gave a lot of opportunities.
That's great, sir, and that's an amazing story to do that and to start your career there as a midshipman and attend the academy for 4 years. I know that you garnered quite a bit of leadership skills and leadership opportunities there with football and all of your other activities at the academy. Now, I think the minority organization at the Naval Academy has a motto about standing on the shoulders of giants, and I know that if we look at the present, you would be a giant, and people are standing on your shoulders, and even your kids have stood and are standing on your shoulders. And we'll get to those kids going to the academy shortly. But any comments about standing on the shoulders of giants when you went to the academy? You mentioned that there was a large presence of, or a larger presence of minority athletes, deliberately done during that time. But anything that you might want to highlight about maybe those that went before you, or any other giants that you may have shoulders that you've stood on?
Well, sure. At the academy, there weren't many giants to stand on because when I went in, there were 77 of us and 34 graduated. So
wow.
There was a very, very small number. And the class before me with the combined number put the number of graduates over 100 for minority students. So again, academy's come a long way. But it was of course, a challenge. It was a new environment for me and others, who attended. But we were there for a reason. We were there to graduate. We were there to serve. We were there to try to do well. And what I saw during my first class cruise was that I didn't see a lot of minority officers. I went on 5 ships, probably over 10,000 people, but I also saw in awe how many of the enlisted folks had never seen a Black officer. And in my midshipman cruise, we were treated as division officers, basically. So we walked down the pier. I mean, the sailors would come up to me and speak on the ship. It was incredible. So I saw that there was a really need, I think, for minority officers in the fleet. And this was, of course, in the 70s. A lot of turbulence was going on. A lot of change was going on. Admiral Zumwalt was making changes in the Navy, for the better, during that period. So I really didn't see or have a lot of, folks to look at. But I do remember John Paul Reason, who was a captain at the time of a nuclear cruiser. He was a minority. He was from Washington, D.C. He was nuclear trained, which means which is one of our toughest programs, and he had one of the most powerful ships in the Navy. So I had a chance to see him from a distance, and I said, wow, that guy's pretty sharp. Plus he had an official car. So I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, he was a guy that I looked up to because of what he was able to do. And fast forward, he became the first 4-star African-American for our Navy. So there were some guys out there. And of course, I had read about Admiral Gravely, who had gone through a lot to get where he was able to achieve, as far as being in the fleet, as far as being a surface warfare officer. So those are the 2 guys I really kind of hold in high esteem. And when you talk about standing on shoulders, I just try to make an impact, make a path, touch those who you work with, through the years, and try to set a positive example so they can aspire, hopefully, to achieve and to move on and promote in our Navy.
That's excellent, sir. And I'm a personal witness and benefactor of your mentorship and leadership. Now, both of us post-military and in the private sector, and things that you've done for me, to me, with me, to assist. And I appreciate you continuing to shorten the learning curve. And I appreciate the story there being influenced by Admiral Reason and by Admiral Wrigley. I know those names just because of my time in the military and history and being a minority myself, but to hear it from a naval officer who was impacted by the foundation that they laid is amazing. And so we're going to get also to your career and your rise to the to be in charge of the naval surface force. But let's also talk about your children. You mentioned your son was in the Marine Corps, but I believe you have 3 daughters and a son that all went to the Naval Academy. Can you tell me a little bit about that and their matriculation to rise to go to the Naval Academy and graduate?
Yeah, well, that's great, and it wasn't a plan, contrary to popular belief. We always, and my wife and I really worked to try to make sure that they opened all opportunities. And their goal, and the good thing was, she was the rock, the foundation there with her leadership at home, because we moved 22 times. I had 14 deployments. The kids went from schools ranging from 2 high schools to 4 high schools. And so it was a big challenge for them, but I think they saw that the positives, the military life, the closeness of the military community, because Mike, and I both know the same thing. We go somewhere, I'm sure you went to Dallas, you walk down the street and people come up to you, find people in the airport. So it was always a small community, but it was a very jovial community. It was one of support, throughout. And so I think they really admired that. And plus, just the opportunity, that they had. So we just stressed, good grades, write your own ticket, basically. And then 2, my wife was great about when we came back to the area, because I had quite a few tours in DC, at the Pentagon, and at the Naval Academy. She would always make it an issue to come back, go on the tour, go and do the harbor cruise, so they could still be connected. And of course, going to the Army Navy game and doing other things. So they saw it, as an opportunity. But then again, they also had what was called summer seminar, whereas they invite and I promote anyone who's interested in Naval Academy. Summer seminar and STEM programs are outstanding. If you have any kids or young people who are interested, try to sign them up, because at least it gives them an opportunity to see what the Academy is all about, what it offers, what the advantages are, and see if this is the place for you. So they saw that and just really, I think, jumped on the opportunity. And it's really, I think, done well for them, and they've done well in going there. 2 of my daughters played varsity basketball, D1 level, so that was great. Playing in Madison Square Garden, some of you saw Duke play last night there. So just, real good opportunities, but also just prepared them for life. And 2 of the girls are still in active duty.
Well, that is truly an amazing story. I remember when you first told me about that, and I think we had a lunch a couple of years ago at Mike's American Grill in Springfield, and I made a Twitter post about that, and I'm thinking that's got to be a record, at least amongst minorities, to have 4 children attend and graduate from the Air Force Academy. Excuse me, I say Air Force. My son went to Air Force, the Naval Academy, sir. The Naval Academy, and that is amazing. Just a tremendous feat, and again, it goes along with that motto of standing on the shoulders of giants. Now,
I'm just proud of them and what they can do, and the people they can impact. And people tell the story about the picture you have with you with your Air Force uniform with sunglasses next to your son with his uniform. I think that's pretty special too.
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely. I mean, we're I'll speak for both of us. I think we're very proud of the accomplishments of our kids and what they are able to do and what they're going to be able to do as a result of that foundation of the education from the academies. Now, I know you were in the surface force, and to graduate in '76 and get commissioned and be an ensign, and then 3 decades later to lead both the Atlantic and the Pacific Surface Force, and then also the entire surface force of the Navy. Can you just share with me kind of your journey along the way? I'm not asking for your bio and all 22 assignments, but just the rise to be the leader of the surface force in the Navy.
Well, as always, Mike, it wasn't a plan. You know, I had no agenda, no roadmap. I know some people work that way, but I really didn't. In fact, I was going to be on the 5 and Out program. I was going to go play pro football, buy one of those shared carpets like Joe Namath, you know, live in a condominium and go from there. And my wife said, you know, not so fast. You know, and she was the confidant that said, hey, you do this very well. You know, you probably can really rise to the ranks, do some great things. And so went to department school. And then found too, you know, who the competition was. I've always been very competitive, you know, since high school, and always felt I had to work twice as hard, sort of having a chip on my shoulder to prove myself, you know, especially in the Navy environment and in the Navy wardroom. I was the only minority in the wardroom for 3 years. So again, that brought a lot of challenges, but I also, you know, looked at the surroundings, kept abreast of what some of the best jobs were, and then tried to aspire and worked hard to get them. And so that's what I tried to do. I took some hard assignments. Sometimes they, you know, it equated into sometimes more of a challenge than I thought, but in the long run, it really helped because I was able to take, I became an engineer, not by choice. You know, we had an issue on a ship. The captain asked me to go down and take over. And at the academy, that was probably the worst job we had the reputation of, because a lot of people were fired from that job, but was able to survive. And from there became a detailer. And that really opened up a lot of other assignments, possibly because I was in the DC area. I got to be with Navy leadership on quite a few occasions. And so again, me coming from that job and then going to other opportunities. And I stayed really surface warfare, cruiser destroyer, because to me that ran the Navy just like in the Air Force. You know, is it jets, you know, or is it C-141s? There is a difference. So trying to break that code early, I think was very helpful. Then I think working for some front runners, I think that really helped. Some of the guys who were movers and shakers in the Navy, the exposure that I got, the training that I had one captain who, when he walked in the wardroom, we all knew our assignment was for him to make Admiral. You know, and for, you know, a JO, it's like, okay, what's the issue here? And he started discussing the Pentagon and the E-ring, and we had no clue. But that advice and, you know, and that education really helped later on, because it just really started putting some, you know, some things in place, you know, later on. So I was able to get early command, which helped get an opportunity to sort of separate from people. So again, after taking some of the tough jobs, and then going on in aircraft carriers, being surface ops. So as surface ops, I learned carrier operations with the Air Wing, which we helped with planning. We had a SEAL team on board. We had the EOD team on board, and also Marines. So learning that and having that tactical warfare background just really helped, again, with the things I was able to do. I was able to do an overseas tour as director of strategy and transformation over in Europe, which was great. We lived in Pasquale, right outside of Naples, in a home that used to be owned by the mafia, we think. But great experience. My daughter actually graduated from Naples International High School. But during this tour, the goal was to work and improve relationships with Russia. So I was going to Kaliningrad, Stalingrad, and doing some things with the Russians, but also help with safety and security in West Africa. And so I had a team that we were going down to Nigeria, Lagos, Ghana, Ivory Coast, helping with safety and security, but also working with their navies to help them work together to help protect themselves in that area. And the significant thing from that was, from part of my staff, because of the things we were able to accomplish, because of improving the relationships, DOD saw that and formed African Command. So what I did with 20 people became an Africa Command with about 700 in Germany. So we really enjoyed, you know, doing those things. So with some of the experience that I was able to do, some of the leadership that I was able to work for really helped put some things in place for me to assume command, of an aircraft carrier battle group with USS Nimitz, which I had a couple of cruisers, a air wing, and we sort of changed some of the warfare as far as tactics, as far as overriding targeting, as far as anti-submarine warfare. And that opened it up for surface warfare. So as a tactical operator, I had, as a flag officer, I had 7 operational commands, which usually doesn't happen, you know, in that realm. So, but yeah, but I really, and the great thing was that, to me, you know, it was a blessing that, you know, people saw the talents and the background I had, but that I was able to give back and just really train and protect the sons and daughters, you know, of the nation.
That is really an amazing journey, sir, and I thank you for sharing that. And I guess the foot stompers that I heard throughout that was that you were blessed to have great people on your team. You were blessed to have great leaders who invested in you and took time in you. And then on more than one occasion, you mentioned your wife and the role that she played in the stability, the moves, the learning and teaching with the kids, and all of those I see as as keys to your success. So my hat's off to you for an amazing career, and the fact that you continue to give back. I believe you're involved in some form of giving back at the Naval Academy. Today, I know you're involved with football and the camaraderie associated with that and the legacy associated with that. And then also, I believe that just in my casual conversation with you, that you still have officers that work for you that are now leaders in the Navy. Can you kind of share just how you continue to mentor folks?
Yeah, well, great. And it all started in the Navy. Each command that I was with, early, we always had a project. We would help a school, we'd help clean a school, we'd provide tutoring. And so I think that stuck with me because as I became more senior, I ensured that our ship gave back. Our ship went to different elementary schools. We did projects so they could see the different other side of the Navy. People have this conception or misconception sometimes about a Navy sailor, but we wanted to show them that there's something more. And plus, you and I both know seeing a person in their uniform, being professional can really have an impact. So we kept that, all the way through adopting school. When I became a flag officer, I was the officer rep for ROTC units. I had the Chicago Consortium, which was IIT Northwestern and Loyola, because I'm from Chicago, and I used to work with IIT as an ensign when I did my first recruiting there. And I also had Morehouse down in Georgia and Savannah State. So again, some of the HBCUs don't get the opportunity to actually see a minority officer. So I was able to do some work there. After I retired, my wife and I started a nonprofit in San Diego, over in the what's called the Hood in Southeast San Diego. And what we try to do is to basically give back to help people get jobs, opportunities, to liaison with the San Diego Hotel and Trust organization and tourist organization, which didn't have a lot of minority personnel. So it really helped out with the community. I still had, of course, a lot of Navy contacts. So we had a lot of Navy influence there. We united with a lot of the churches in the area. We did food banks, giveaways, health fairs. So again, just trying, to make a difference there. And the interesting thing was one of the neighborhood high school wanted to stop the ROTC program, which was one of the reasons that people went there. They were more concerned about basketball and the state championship, which they won a few times, than ROTC. So we really tried to change that paradigm. Then coming to Annapolis, we helped out with another nonprofit trying to help the kids, which I think is important. You mentioned about the Naval Academy. A few years ago, 7 football players got together and said, what can we do to give back to the Academy? What can we do to make an impact? How can we help get more people into the Naval Academy, help them succeed and be successful, but also on the other side with the transition, sort of what you do with the vets in transition. What can we do to help some military grads successfully transition to the corporate world? How can we help some of the military continue their journey as having good sponsors and advisors? And then how can we actually give back to the Academy to help their mission, bring on others? So we started the Naval Academy Minority Association, which continues to grow. In fact, we just had and assisted with a D&I conference a couple of weeks ago. We had some of the top Navy leadership there to participate. But the biggest thing is trying to help the midshipmen, trying to help and mold the future leaders of tomorrow. So I think that's really part of it. And then you mentioned the football. We have what's called the Navy Football Brotherhood, about 2,000 members. And again, just trying to help mentor, advise, and give back to some of the graduates.
That is truly amazing, sir. And I, on behalf of a lot of folks, I thank you for all that you're doing to continue mentoring folks and shortening the learning curve for those that follow. I thank you for this opportunity to talk with you over Veterans Week here and being a part of the Vets in Transition and the City Club of Washington, D.C., the Veterans Committee, the opportunity to interview a distinguished veteran during this week. And again, I say distinguished, I want to repeat this. It's not a misnomer that we're interviewing a distinguished veteran who was recently selected and announced as a distinguished graduate alumni of the Naval Academy for the year 2021. So one of a couple of people that were awarded that this year. They do that annually, and very select few group of folks get to receive that recognition. And I want to congratulate you for that, sir, and look forward to seeing the actual ceremony in 2022. So again, thank you.
Well, thanks, Mike, and I also thank what you're doing in Veteran Transition. And one of the things that I decided, I became a small business consultant, assistant, because small businesses have a tough time out here, as we all know. But a lot of them are veteran owned, and right now I'm assisting a veteran owned business, and I've done a couple just to try to become successful, use the tools that are out there, and grow. My first experience, I had a academy grad, young guy came to me. He said, "Sir, I'd like you to help me run my company." I retired, I just looking around, had some interviews and all. He said, "So what do you do?" He says, "Well, I have a construction company." I said, "Well, I don't know construction, but I know leadership management. I went to vocational high school, so I think we can make this work." So we started with 6 employees. I think he was doing about 400,000. I never looked at a P&L, never looked at projections. I just said, "Okay, we're going to make this happen." And by the time I left, we had 83 people and we're a revenue about 20 million. So there are some opportunities out there. I work with Vet Force. Usually they were getting together a lot and to try to talk about strategies and try to help each other. But I just think it's important, and it's great what you're doing, and whatever I can do to help Vets in Transition, please let me know, and we will continue the journey.
Oh, absolutely, sir. And you mentioning that, I want to take this opportunity to actually highlight the company that you work for. So if you could just say a little bit about Tri Logistics and what they do and their leadership, I think that would be great for folks to hear as well.
I definitely work with Tri Logistics, owned by Angela A. McCullough. She's a Air Force retiree, 23 years, technician, logistics expert. So we do a lot of FF&E, furniture, office design. Throughout, we do project management, logistics, warehouse control, RFID scanning, digital scanning. So we try to look at the total package, basically, and total solutions. In about 30 states, we have a national contract with the FAA. So we're a government 8A, service disabled, women-owned, Prince George's County certified small business. I think we all know Prince George's County is probably one of the fastest growing in the area. So we try to do that, but we also partner, with other companies. We try to help small companies. We mentor, other companies. So again, because we feel that whatever we can do to help each other grow, it's a great opportunity.
That's excellent, and I thank you for doing that. And I'm very familiar with Tri Logistics and Angela, and I thank you for your leadership over there, and then also for the partnership opportunities that you've presented to myself and to others. You continue to give, sir. You continue to give back, and that's a truly, pun intended, admirable quality.
That was good.
All right. Well, thank you again for the opportunity to interview. We are excited about that. Excited to have you. Again, we're doing this in honor of Dan Sturdivant, who led the Veterans Committee at the City Club of Washington, D.C. He passed away just about a year ago. Again, Dan is a Marine, 2 tours in Vietnam, passionate about serving and helping veterans. And this is something that he would like to do, is to highlight veterans in the veteran community. So in honor of Dan, the City Club of Washington, D.C., the Veterans Committee, and Vets in Transition, thank you for tuning in with us today. And what a fantastic opportunity to talk to and have a conversation with Admiral Derwood D.C. Curtis. Thank you.
Thank you.